Sonic Adventure is still a phenomenal game today, and that's exactly why it really deserves a remake. But what would that even look like? For a lot of people, Sonic Adventure is one of the most memorable Sonic games ever made, but not for the reasons you might think. See, the thing is, Sonic Adventure still works today, not in a for its time kind of way, like right now. Sonic Adventure feels fast in a way that most modern Sonic games actually struggle to get right. I remember when I first discovered that you can skip the bridge part in Emerald Coast by simply just jumping with speed, and felt like I was truly breaking the game's intended level. But it was clearly designed with that in mind. Speaking of level design, Sonic Adventure had one of the best level designs to this day. Every stage is memorable and unique. Windy Valley really felt like you were high in the sky and felt vertical. Speedy Highway was the go-to speed level, running from Robocops, running off a skyscraper, and going through the city to finish the stage. My favorite part was playing the pinball at Casinopolis, especially with the Dream stage, and seeing another Sega cameo with Knights. For most Sonic fans, Sonic Adventure had stages you just couldn't forget. But level design isn't the only reason. The music was incredible. The opening theme song was amazing. Hub world music for the ambience, and even character themes that really made you understand their personality. It really helped shape the identity of Sonic Adventure, and major props to the Sega sound team for that. With all the amazing design with the game, it'd be hard to imagine that a remake can even do anything to add to Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure wasn't perfect, and hasn't really reached its full potential. Now, if Sonic Adventure were to have a remake, here are the 3 rules it should follow. Rule number 1, don't replace, refine. The physics are a little janky, but that's just part of the charm. This is step number 1. If the physics of the game feel different or modernized, it's gonna change the game in a completely different direction. That's not Sonic Adventure. Level structure already had creative thought put into it, so I don't believe a lot of the changes should be put into these aspects. One of the things that should actually be refined is character variety. Every character feels unique. That's one of Sonic Adventure's best parts. I feel like modern updates can really expand on that. Big the Cat, for example, had his own fishing gameplay, completely different than the rest of the game, and the one that I believe needs the most refinement. It was always so finicky with its controls and the way the AI interacted with the fishing mechanics. I can imagine this being a complete deep dive into a new gameplay for him, from what felt unfinished to a completed gameplay section that actually feels enjoyable, and giving some love for all the Big the Cat fans. Amy is one of my favorite characters that I think could use a little bit more love in their gameplay mechanics. A lot of her controls felt a bit flat in her movement, and I'm not just talking about speed. See, there was a mod that I played a while back ago that added extra movesets to all Sonic Adventure characters, and one of the movesets for Amy just fit for her. After she bounces in the air with her hammer, she could then spin the hammer to do a sort of glide to slow down her fall. Another one was the spinning hammer technique. Now, you can do this in the current game, but the updated moveset allowed her to move while she is spinning. I, for one, absolutely love a gameplay refinement like this, simply because she isn't just a Sonic clone like in Sonic Heroes. She's using her hammer for speed, and while it's uncontrollable, it still gives her that uniqueness that's solely an Amy gameplay. And then that brings us to rule number 2. Expand what already exists. One of the best things about Sonic Adventure was the hub world. I absolutely loved the hub world for a majority of reasons, whether it was just hanging around in the hub as a kid, or finding Easter eggs and unlocking certain things that were within the actual world itself. I believe modernizing that can actually make a more believable hub and create a lot of immersion. You can really update Station Square to feel like an actual city, filled with a bunch of people, boats off of the coast, more NPCs to interact with, and possibly even side quests that you can do along the way. Mystic Ruins can have a better exploring opportunity, maybe some extra lore or unique interactions with an experience there, or even some Easter eggs as well. And believe it or not, this is the area where you are spending the most time in general. with 5 stages or even 2 to 3 bosses, there's just something there that would really need to be focused on since you're spending a majority of the time there. Now, the egg carrier is one of the weakest hub worlds in my opinion, and that's simply because there's not really a whole lot to do. I think there's a quite simple change to this really, and that is the egg carrier should have enemies in its hub world. I mean, when you think about it, you're invading Eggman's ship. There should be tons of robots to stop you. It would make total sense to have actual enemies that spawn to stop you from progressing. And lastly, for Rule 2, and possibly the even most important one, the Chow Gardens. Sonic Adventure has always been lesser than Sonic Adventure 2 when it comes to Chow gameplay. And I think that should still stay true in some way. Instead of adding everything Sonic Adventure 2 had with the speed boosts and all the power-ups, in-depth hero and dark chows, I would instead update it for expandability. That would include online play with events, social features and interactions, and more options of unique chows within the hub worlds like the gold chow, the silver chow, and the dark chow. All of this to set up for a potential future Sonic Adventure 2 remake as well, giving you the option to trade to others or even in the future game. I believe Sonic Adventure can be still modernized with clear details of Chow stats, like you would in Sonic Adventure 2, but all the add-ins and additions that Sonic Adventure 2 had feels more solely like Sonic Adventure 2 than Sonic Adventure 1. And that leaves us with rule number 3. Add content, don't overwrite content. If there is any major changes, let it be new content. Changing the story of how the flow of the game occurs is a big risk with very little rewards for anyone, Sega or players combined. But I mean, we do have a lot to dive in, as there's tons of lore of the characters and even the world itself. One of the main ones, for example, is the versions of Metal Sonic in the Egg Carrier. Sonic and team could fight the various versions that are seen on the ship after it has crash landed. This could introduce new levels, a few boss varieties, and give Metal Sonic some love for the Sonic fans. Another really neat part would also be the past of Knuckles, or specifically the Master Emerald. Clearly there's a lot there. We could have a whole complete side story of Knuckles finding out more about the past, the Master Emerald, and what it all means. This could involve traveling to the past, maybe a little bit of Tikal interaction as well, exploring areas that are completely new. Imagine an Angel Island floating above, where we could see a 3D Angel Island level. It would give Knuckles a different end goal than just collecting Master Emeralds, but still feel very familiar. These are just some of the general ideas that could potentially be expanded on with an actual Sonic Adventure remake. But there are a few things that do need to change in Sonic Adventure, and it's very clear. See, the camera wasn't always the best. The Dreamcast version had a rough time, and sometimes you'd just be stuck vertically and you have to kind of wiggle your camera out of a ceiling, of a wall. It was almost impossible to kind of play the game without your camera getting stuck a few times. Now, the GameCube version did fix this up a bit, but honestly, the technology wasn't that big of a difference to really see an improvement. Another key thing that really didn't get hit very well was the mini bosses. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, over the course of the game, you face other characters like Knuckles, E102, or even the other E-series robots as a form of a mini boss. But they were practically really easy and you can fight them within seconds. Updating their AI to perform better would really amp up the difficulty and, most importantly, keep it engaging. The last and final thing that actually needs to be changed: the sky chase levels. When I tell you, this is probably the one part of the game that really slows everything down. So much so that people have created mods to skip it. It's repetitive, you're forced to sit through practically a cutscene. It just slows the whole pace compared to the rest of the game. Now, I don't play a lot of Starship games, and personally, I don't enjoy them myself with either something like Star Fox or the gummy ships from Kingdom Hearts, for example. So I may not be the best at providing insight on this, but I do believe there's a clear indicator that it should be improved on. Now there are a few ways you can go about updating this, and that's simply by making the flight controls better, giving a bit more freedom in how you fly, and then ultimately giving a Tail that something as unique that Tails can do, as it's practically his story anyway. Or another route you could take is provide a mix. Maybe you have Sonic jump out of the plane, lands on the ship, and need to do something within a certain time frame in order to go back onto the ship and have kind of like a hybrid land-air combo kind of thing. Now I could go on and on about the things I'd love to see, but the reality is I just want to share Sonic Adventure with new fans and relive them with the old fans. That's why it really deserves to be remade, because it did almost everything right. But what would you want added in a remake version of Sonic Adventure? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more Sega and Dreamcast content.